In this tutorial, we're going to go over the ignition map, ignition trims, coil dwell, and knock. If you go to the ignition tab at the top, you'll see your ignition map. This is the 3D version, and this is the 2D version of the ignition map. This is load versus RPM, and all the values inside this table are ignition timing in degrees. If you go to the coils tab, you will see some of your ignition trims, including air temperature, coolant temperature, gear, ignition versus start time, and ignition versus idle RPM. These two tables over here set up your coil dwell of your ignition coils. The next tab is the knock tab. This is your knock sensor cal table. This is voltage versus RPM. The best way to set up this table is to put in really good gas, retard the timing a little bit more than you normally would have it, do some data logging, watch the knock number 1 volts parameter here as you're doing the log. The values that you get at all of these RPMs will be plugged in here. However, put this line right above all of those peaks. Anything above this line will be considered detonation, and anything below this line will be considered knock free. Now to set up the knock control, you'll have to turn it on, hit enter, and then you have a couple other options in here. Knock percent rich over volts. So this is currently, in this example, we have 20% extra fuel per volt of knock. So in other words, at 4,000 RPMs, 1 volt over this line, this is 0.2 volts. So at 1.2 volts, if you get a signal from the knock sensors that's at 1.2 volts, it'll add 20% fuel to the map. And it will do no more than 20%. That's what this option is here. Now, it'll decrease that fuel at a specific restore rate of 0.8% every 254 milliseconds. And the retard control works basically the same, but it's in degrees rather than fuel percent.